My name is Bryana Gold, and I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. So I was born in Toronto originally, but I grew up in the United States in Atlanta, Georgia. And my childhood was it was a good childhood. I have an older brother, so it kind of helped make me tough. And my family is really into sports, so I kind of started getting into sport when I was really little. Started playing football when I was 4, and I just haven't really stopped since. I've been involved in football in some sort of way ever since, so that sort of made my childhood fun and helped me kind of become who I am today. I think for me, some of my challenges on my journey are a bit sometimes of lack of self-belief. I think kind of also coming over here to another country has been quite challenging because it's not easy, and I don't have any family over here, so that hasn't been the easiest for me. But I think, you know, having a good foundation and like my family back home and the friends and my partner who I had met here, that sort of helped me become stronger and sort of just helped me keep persevering. Just in terms of sort of not always, I quit playing football at one point, and that wasn't the easiest for me, I think, because football for me is how I define myself since I was little. So not having that was quite challenging for me. One of the most influential people that's been on my journey, I probably have a couple. His name is Donald Riley Jr., and he's physically handicapped, so he's paraplegic. But his mind is brilliant, and he went to school, he went to Cal Berkeley with my dad. That's how I met, actually. So I call him my uncle, but he's like a really good family friend. He never let his physical limitations stop him from what he can achieve. He met so many people. He's the reason I got to see Sade when I was 14 years old. I was probably the youngest one there. He sort of showed me that, you know, you make the most of everything in your day, and you make people feel good around you, and I think that is what we're here on earth for, I think, is just to make people feel good around us, and he taught me that. So I'm forever grateful for him. Unfortunately, he passed a couple years ago, but I think he's probably one of the most influential people in my life in terms of just inspiring me to keep pursuing and being the best I can be, and being grateful for just the littlest things. I can walk, I have family, I have just the smallest things that just keep me pursuing, which made me feel even more grateful to be a footballer and play football. So for me growing up, I started playing with boys. So I played in a little co-ed league. Actually, ironically, the first time I ever played football, I don't know why they made us do it, but they made us have a wall. So like I was 4 years old, and like we had a wall, and like the ball went straight into my face. Like the first football game I ever played, and I got a bloody nose. But I just remember I was like, this is wicked, I love it. I kept playing with boys, and then I kind of got into playing for like some club teams, and then they have Olympic development program in the States, which is basically like a program designed to help like boys and girls play for the US national team and things like that. So that kind of was an opportunity and outlet for me to be able to do that. But I would say, I think in the States, I was fortunate because I was able to have my mom and dad help provide for me and help pay, but it wasn't cheap. So I think that, you know, there should be a little bit more accessibility for players or from low-income families, you know, to have more opportunity to play. But it's everywhere. There's football everywhere. You can play pickup, which is great. I was playing university in Division I in the States, and I always in my mind said that I wanted to try and play overseas. Just from growing up, I always watched like La Liga. I grew up watching Ronaldinho play in La Liga and the Prem, became an Arsenal fan. So I ended up deciding to try and take some classes over here. So that was when I was able to get a trial. So I got a trial with Arsenal, which was great because I was able to, and I just it kept rolling from there. But unfortunately, because I was a student, I wasn't able to sign officially, so I ended up going back to the States to finish my degree. But football, I think for me, is what I've done since I was little. So I was like, you know, I'm not going to stop. So after I finished graduating, I was like, I'm going to come back and keep playing. So I messaged my manager that was coaching me with Arsenal at the time. He was like, come back out. So I ended up getting back and playing. So that's originally why I came to the UK, was just to continue my dream of playing football and overseas. On the football pitch, I would say I'm techie. Is that a good word? Is that quite a British word to say? I try and play smart. I try and make good decisions when I'm on the ball. I also like to make players around me look good. So making smart passes. If I could get a nutmeg, I would love that. So that's kind of how I would describe myself. I think from a fashion perspective, I think since I was little, I've probably worn Nike since I was like a little girl. I've always been like a tomboy in general, like playing sports. And then I think the fact that like Nike has sort of expanded their brand to make it more of like a lifestyle versus just super sport, I think so I've sort of taken hold of that in terms of just trying to make my style very like kind of cute, sporty, but sexy at the same time if I can. So Nike, brands like, it's very expensive, but I like Off-White. Adidas Y3 is quite cool, so it's the same thing where it's still very sporty, but also quite elegant at the same time. So ways I can kind of combine the two, I think are a great way to have sort of that kind of a way to express myself. Sporty, but stylish and fashionable at the same time. Athletes that have inspired me, I always say Ronaldinho won because of his joy and his passion. I saw him play when I was 9 years old, like when he did the tour in the States. And he just like radiated. I think I saw like how the stadium exploded. Kobe Bryant, as a basketball player, because I love basketball, I've watched that since I was little. So as a basketball player, his relentlessness, his hard work, his passion, he is probably one of the greatest basketball players of all time, and just the way he was dedicated. And then in terms of athletes, I like Steph Curry as well as a basketball player, just because I think for me, I am a smaller footballer. And he was smaller, and I think the things that he overcame and accomplished as a basketball player, just because they said he was too small and he wasn't going to make it in the NBA, and he did anyway. So I think players like that can prove people wrong, that inspires me, and that keeps me, keeps me going, keeps me persevering. I think over the past 3 months with COVID, it's mainly like my temperament. I think it's having to put a lot of things into perspective. Everything at this point in time is just unprecedented. No one knows what's going to happen. No one knows when things are going to open up officially. No one knows if the virus is going to come back. So, the past 3 months is me learning how to just take things day by day and trying to make the most of each and every single day, because, you don't know what's going to happen next. So I think that's sort of something that I'm trying to just take in hold of. Obviously, I'm not an expert at it. That's something I'm still teaching myself. Learning that actually what is essential that we need in life. Like, we can cook a lot, so this kind of not going out all the time and not having to order out all the time. It's being more resourceful. So I think something like that has made me a bit more, and just coming more creative with my exercises, things like that, training outside. What can I do outside because I don't have this access to this equipment, things like that. But it's also just understanding that and learning that we are all in unprecedented times, and it's just making the most of each and every day.